Hello people. Um, so this is my first video of my new channel that I started. Bear with me as I'm very drugged up from my surgery yesterday. But anyways, so this channel is dedicated to my health and kind of updates on what's going on. I was doing carrying bridge for a while. Still probably will do carrying bridge, but sometimes it's not always, I don't always have time to write out a whole blog, so I thought that a vlog would be a lot easier for me right now. This channel will also be dedicated to talking about what gastroparesis is. If you guys have any ideas, you can post them in the comments below, down there. And then I'll also be talking about GPACT, which is a nonprofit organization that I volunteer for. And their website is down below too, but it's www.gpact.org, and you can find out a lot more information about what gastroparesis is and the treatments. There is no cure right now, but hopefully one day there will be. Anyways, so yes, I have gastroparesis. Started back in 2010 in November. I just woke up, felt really sick, didn't know what was going on, just thought maybe I had like a virus or some kind of flu. Ended up being where I couldn't eat anything without just extreme nausea and pain. I went to urgent care. They didn't really understand what was going on, so they sent me to digestive health specialists next door, where I saw Dr. Sugar, and yes, that was his real name. And anyways, so I went there and I had tests from about December to January or February, and hold on a second, I turned my pump off. I am flushing. Anyways, so I had a bunch of tests done, endoscopy, colonoscopy, CT scans, and then they eventually did something called a GES, which is a gastric empty test. And sorry, I'm like zoning out because I'm so drugged up. Anyways, the test, basically I had to eat a bunch of radioactive eggs, some toast, and some orange juice within like 10 minutes. And at the time, that was a lot of food for me because I was only having like Jello, pretty much. Jello and I think maybe a few saltines. And even that was hard to do. And I ended up losing like 41 pounds in a very short amount of time. And I wasn't heavy to begin with. I probably was like 156 pounds, and I'm 5'8". So I ended up getting down to about 115. And I'm about, well, I haven't weighed myself since my surgery, but I was 118. I don't know how much weight I've lost since I'm just starting to feed over the last 48 hours. But anyways, I'll get into that. So then I went to the doctor, and they diagnosed me with the gastroparesis, and I had never ever heard of that before in my life. I was like, gastro what? Basically he said, it's your stomach is paralyzed. Well, I'd never had, like, I didn't even know anything like that existed. I mean, I knew that people got paralyzed and couldn't walk, or they had brain stuff going on or whatever, but I didn't know that your stomach could be paralyzed. So after doing a lot of research on the internet and just getting a lot of friends, I slowly started learning what it was, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is not, something you just take a pill for and it goes away. Because that's what I was thinking, like, oh, okay, well, I'm at the doctor, he'll just give me some medicine and I'll be better in like a week. Well, that's not exactly how it happened. Um, anyway, so I ended up switching GIs because the GI, Dr. Sugar, was my doctor. He wasn't really helping me. He just kept offering me Reglan and never offered to do anything else. Like, he watched me lose tons of weight and just every appointment was like, oh, you want Reglan? Okay, come back in 3 months or whatever. So it was 10 months of just nothing. So after talking to a bunch of friends who had the same condition, I finally figured out another doctor, Dr. Patterson at Swedish. He works in Seattle, Issaquah, and Redmond, and I'm not sure, I don't think he works anywhere else than that, but anyways, everyone was saying he was a really good doctor and he specialized just in gastroparesis. So I thought, hey, I have nothing to lose at this point. So I made my first appointment, was able to get in like super duper fast, which for a specialist is really hard to do because, usually it can take months. And I think I got in within a couple of days, which that was an answer to prayer. Because at this point, I was just wasting away. I was so malnourished and I needed I needed to do something. So I ended up going and seeing him. He said, oh, you have severe gastroparesis and, have you thought about doing the pacer? And I didn't really know what that was. And I said, well, I don't really want to do surgery right now. I'd rather just kind of start out slow. So he offered me domperidone, which is sort of like Reglan, but it doesn't cross the brain barrier or something. I don't know. Anyways, so he offered me that, but I could only get it in Canada. So he gave me a prescription for that, and I ordered it through Canada. It was not cheap, $30 or something like a month. But I was taking that a couple times a day, and it was supposed to help your stomach muscles, work. It made me really hungry, I know that. But back up. Sorry, drugs again. He started me on erythromycin. That's right. So I tried the erythromycin, and that was an antibiotic that sometimes helps with your stomach to speed things up. But that only lasted 3 days because I got like the worst stomach pain I probably ever felt in my life. And I rushed to the ER. They, of course, acted like I was some drug seeker because it's an antibiotic. Like, how could you have this horrible reaction from that? Anyways, that was not a good visit. And so I discontinued the erythromycin. Then he put me on the domperidone. And it actually did help me. I was on it for 7 months back in 2011. And it did help me eat a little bit more. I was actually able to eat like a turkey burger, and if I ate 6 small meals, I seemed to be okay. But then as time went on, I just noticed I was really moody. I started lactating, which a lot of women that are trying to nurse will take that to help them with their milk production. So anyways, and so I started to just not be myself on it. I just was moody. I started having like heart palpitations and just these pains down my arm. It was not comfortable, the pain I was getting like in my heart area. They ended up, I went back inside my GI. He ended up doing a Holter monitor for a couple of days. That turned out to be okay. Of course, I had an EKG, which was normal, which is good. So I knew it had something to do with the domperidone because I was feeling horrible on it, even though I could eat. And it was a really hard decision to go off of it because here it made me eat and helped me make me feel normal. I was able to gain back about 18 pounds, I think, of the 41 I lost. So, people were saying I looked better and I was feeling a little bit more energy, but I just I couldn't deal with the side effects, mood swings, and especially the lactation was really annoying because I don't have a baby. So, my youngest is 5. So, and at the time, my youngest was 2.5, I think. So anyways, it was a hard decision, but it was the right one. And so I went off of that. And then I thought, gosh, now I'm back at square one. What do I do now? So I ended up going and seeing, I think, a dietitian for 3 months or something. And that just was a joke. That was not helping me. My stomach was not working, and the foods she was offering, it just wasn't she didn't know much about gastroparesis. So anyways, stopped doing that, and Dr. Patterson asked me if I wanted to try looking into the pacer, which is a little device that they stick in your stomach. It helps. It's like a heart pacer, sort of, if you want to think of a pacer. Like, it helps give you stimulation to make the muscles work. So I thought about that, and I thought, sure, what have we got to lose? I mean, I'm just going to waste away more. I'm going to lose all this weight I just gained. So we looked into that, but my insurance denied it, which he said they would because I have Regents and they don't like paying for it. So we appealed, and they basically said, no, you're not sick enough for this procedure or whatever. So then I was really upset because I thought, oh my gosh, if I don't have the medicine and I don't have the pacer, my only options left is to get tubes. I mean, I can't just not eat. So I ended up asking for an NJ because at that time I was so, like, my skin was gray. I remember people telling me, like, after I got the NJ and started getting nourishment, people said I looked like I was like The Walking Dead. So anyways, I looked like I was from a concentration camp or whatever. Not a good way to look. So I ended up getting the NJ on March 13th of 2013. And that was a hard procedure, but, I ended up having a couple more after that because I got them replaced every couple of months. But I ended up having that for 7 months. Towards the end was really hard because my throat, well, I had an 8 French, a 10 French, and a 12 French, which is the length and the size of it, the tube width and length or whatever. So anyways, I remember my throat being just so sore, like I had to have lidocaine to numb my throat because I couldn't hardly swallow, and I really wasn't eating anything like that whole 7 months, just the nutrition from the formula because I couldn't handle swallowing. So then in October of 2013, my doctor brought up pyloroplasty. And basically, well, they had offered me Botox injections, but I said no to that because I just didn't want to have to keep getting them done. Because it wears off and you have to keep getting it done. And that just didn't seem fun to me to have to keep going back. And I don't know. Anyways, that was just a personal preference. I know some people do